Hey guys, Josh York here. A lot of questions around the GYMGUYZ story, so I'm gonna give it to you. Growing up, I've always been into fitness. I always loved helping people. And I always thought being a personal trainer was really cool, right? You get to like hang out with people, you get to like help them reach their goals, and you can make money at it. So I was like, man, this is great, I should do it. But I used to always say to myself, like, I can't be a trainer forever. Like I used to see some trainers who were really young training people, and then I used to see like older people training. And I used to say to myself, like, well, I really wanna be like in my 60s, training people, let alone I see some people in their 70s training people. Being a personal trainer is not scalable. And I always think about it and I compare it to a doctor. Being a doctor is not scalable. A doctor without patients is unemployed, and a trainer without clients is unemployed. So I used to always ask myself, how can I make money when I'm sleeping, and how can I really scale this type of business? But I kind of put that to the side, and I was like, you know what, I just graduated college. I need to start doing something. I need to like start my career. And I was told to get a 9-to-5 job. So I left all my clients. I was making a lot of money as a personal trainer at a young age. I left all my clients to take a $35,000 a year job in a marketing firm, working with probably the most negative people you can ever imagine in your life. It was just like the energy was so bad, like when you're just around bad energy. Anyway, so I was at this place for probably like 3 months, and I was like, I gotta go back into training. I couldn't get my clients back because I gave them all away. So I had to start from scratch again. You know how discouraging that is? And all these pains I've been through my life, I always would tell myself, pain is a teacher, right? Pain is the best teacher you can ever have. The way it's a good teacher is if you actually listen to it, acknowledge it, and understand the mistake you made so you don't make it again. Anyway, I went back into training, and one of my clients came in late and said, Josh, I wish you can come to my house. I just don't have any equipment. And that kind of stuck with me every day. And I was like, wow, how great would it be if I got a van, stocked it with all the necessary equipment, enough equipment to provide you a fantastic workout 365 days a year, backed by our 3 C's, convenient, customized, and creative workouts, service clients anywhere from their home, office, pool, park, place of worship, hospital, senior homes, you name it, we bring the workout to you. Got the van wrapped and just started driving up and down the expressway, literally every single day. I would start at 6 a.m. and I would do it literally till about 10 in the morning. Then I would just market, pass out flyers, and I was just relentless. When I tell you relentless, like you don't even understand. You can't touch me on a level of relentless. Like when I tell you what things I would do, like I've never taken a sick day ever. Like I literally remember one time I was so sick I was thrown up on the side of the road. I still went out, did my marketing, did the omnipresence activities, the revenue generating activities, but I just kept doing that every single day. I really just believed, I knew it was something that was gonna be hot. I knew it was gonna be unstoppable, and I knew I could turn this into the largest fitness brand in the world. I started in my parents' dining room, right? So, I had a phone in there, didn't even have call waiting. I had my laptop, and I wasn't even living in my parents' house. So I was living in an apartment. I was going back and forth because that was my office, and the apartment wasn't a good spot for my office because most of my clients were closer to where my parents were living. So that's where I made that in my office. But that's where I kept all my client folders, notes, one little small, one of those little handheld folder holders turned into multiple cabinets, and it's just crazy how fast it grew. And from day one, the vision's always been to franchise it. And I used to tell people I'm gonna franchise it, and they told me I was crazy. And I am very crazy, in a good way. I started reaching out to just tons of people to start learning and start really, diving into understanding how this works, franchising. And then I found somebody, wasn't the greatest, but was good at the time, helped me to get, kind of almost to the finish line. Then I met someone else who was fantastic and helped me get across the finish line, and I was a franchise. We just got approved for franchising. And I'm like, man, how the hell am I gonna sell my first franchise? Now, right before I was having my first child, my wife's like, let's take a trip to Cabo. I said, okay, but I really didn't wanna go. I haven't left the business in 8 years, literally 8 years. So I said, all right, we'll go. So I get to Cabo, we arrived late, get to the hotel, didn't have enough time to make a reservation. So we go to the buffet. Now I am ready to eat, I am starving. And if you know me, I love to eat, and I love my sweets, and I love brownies. Gooey, fudgy brownies, I love them. When I tell you I load up my plate, I must have 40 brownies on my plate. And I'm walking back to my table. This gentleman looks at me. We start talking. He's like, what do you do for, what are you doing all those brownies? What are you doing here? Blah, blah, blah. What do you do for a living? I start telling him about GYMGUYZ. And he's like, wow, my son would love this. 10 minutes later, I'm on a FaceTime with his son, Sam, who 2 weeks later, we closed the first deal and sold the franchise during a blizzard. Now here's a good story. Here's a really good story. So I'm nervous as hell. It's Friday night. We're set to meet Saturday morning in New Jersey, which would probably typically take me about 45 minutes to get to the location we were going to. It took 4.5 hours. It was a severe blizzard. For those of you who really know me, no is not in my vocabulary. It doesn't exist. If there was a tornado or a hurricane, I'd still go out. So I'm like, we're going. They were like, yeah, we're going too. So I was like, oh, I love these people. So we drove out there, literally 4 hours. At one point, it was almost like a whiteout. I couldn't even see when I'm driving over the bridge. Super excited. I'm in the van. I'm driving. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. It's my first meeting to sell a franchise. And, Sam ended up buying, the first 14 locations in Westchester County, New York. And from there, the rest was history. I really wanted to start advertising, but I had no money at the time because I was spent literally everything on franchising. I pitched this story to Entrepreneur Magazine, and they ended up doing a full-page story for free. And that's how I sold my next 3-4 franchises. Then from there, it just took off like crazy. As of today, we're servicing thousands of cities in 3 countries, about to add another couple countries we're working on right now, in almost 30 states, thousands of team members, and it's continuing to grow. And a great thing about what we do and what I love what we do is we change lives. We help people, we change lives, not a better thing in the world. But as we started, to really, start taking off, there were things that I had to put in place, right? Very important things. And I came up with the concept, Fuel Your Drive. For those of you who know, it's the name of my podcast, it's the name of my book. It's something that, is recited every single day. Fuel is the 4 pillars of success. You can't have them if you want to run a business. And drive, obviously, you're not driving anywhere without fuel. Those are our core values. And lots of people like to talk about them. Not many people like to align with them. Well, we actually really do align with them. And we actually recite them before every single meeting we have. Drive, determination, respect, integrity, versatility, and excellence. And fuel is the 4 pillars of success: fun, unity, earnings, and leadership. And to break it down for you, you cannot run a business without fuel. Number 1, fun. If you don't have fun, you're gonna be going back to like where I was working in that marketing job, miserable and unhappy. You gotta have fun. You gotta have a personality. You gotta be able to make jokes, have a prank here and there, do fun things, play games. Culture's gotta be incredible. So no fun, won't work. Next one, unity. Well, teamwork makes the dream work, and if there's no teamwork, it's never gonna work. Next one, earnings. Well, if you're not making money, that's not gonna work. And the last one is the number 1 most important one: leadership. You've got to be a good leader. Good leaders always create other good leaders. And if you're not a good leader, you're not going to be successful in business. Now, I understand getting into a business can be overwhelming. I understand getting into a business can be scary. Here's the fence, right? Here's the normal side. Here's the not normal side. All the great things happen on the not normal side. And if you want to get on the not normal side, you got to go over the fence. Fear stands for false expectations appearing real. And at the end of the day, you got to take action and you have to trust your gut. But the great thing about franchising, which I always loved, is you're in business for yourself, not by yourself. And you have a model that's turnkey. All you got to do is follow it. But as I always say, I tell people, we have many, many successful owners. Am I saying you're going to be successful? No. You got to have the raw tools. You got to be determined. You got to be persistent. You got to be consistent. You got to have the mindset, and you got to be smart. And I don't mean like book smart. I mean like working smarter, not harder, following the system, and less thinking, more doing, and just taking action. If you're not succeeding, the problem is, and this is in every industry, you're the problem. You're the problem. People think someone else is the problem. They like to put the blame on it. Why don't you look in the mirror and look at yourself? But if you're not doing what's needed to grow your business, you're not going to grow your business. Why have we had such unbelievable growth? We opened up 265 cities last year. We will triple that this year. Why? Very simple. Look at the whole world. The whole world runs on convenience. 90% of people, true stat, that have a gym membership don't go. Treadmills become the most amazing clothing racks. Apps don't work. Artificial intelligence, not going to happen. People need human interaction and accountability, and that's why we're continuing to win. The majority of things in the fitness world are fads. They're hot, and then they're not. We are a lifestyle brand. We're not going anywhere. So we're going to keep doing what we do. Get out there, help people, change lives, and that's it for me.